The difference between intuition and the voice you're actually supposed to be listening to, most people can't tell the difference. Here's why it matters. I want to talk about something that came up early yesterday morning in a conversation I wasn't expecting. A man called me from France. He'd read something I wrote, had questions he couldn't shake, and needed to talk it through with somebody. At one point, he kept using the word intuition, kept coming back to it. And I finally stopped him and asked, "Do you know the difference between intuition and the still small voice?" He got quiet. And I realized most people don't. Not because they aren't paying attention, because nobody ever taught them there was a difference worth learning. We live in a world that's loud in a way it's never been before. Notifications, news, opinions coming at you from every direction, all day, every minute. And underneath all of that noise, a lot of people are trying to hear something, trying to figure out if what they're sensing is real or just their own fears and hopes bouncing around inside their head. I hear from people at all hours. Some of them are struggling with practical things, work, money, direction, but a surprising number of them are struggling with something quieter than that. They feel like they've been hearing something for a long time, a nudge, a pull, something that keeps coming back no matter how many times they push it aside. And they don't know what to do with it because nobody gave them a vocabulary for it. Intuition and the still small voice are not the same thing, though they can feel similar from the inside. Intuition is the voice of your own accumulated experience. It's your brain pattern matching faster than your conscious mind can keep up with it. It's real and it's useful. God gave you a mind and He intends for you to use it. But the still small voice is something different. It comes through you rather than from you. It doesn't always make sense by the logic of your circumstances. It doesn't always align with what you want to hear. And it has a quality to it that intuition isn't, a kind of settled peace underneath it, even when what it's saying is hard. Elijah heard it in 1 Kings 19. He was exhausted, burned out, running for his life after one of the greatest victories of his ministry. He expected God in the earthquake, in the fire, in the wind. God wasn't in any of those. He was in the still small voice that came after him. That's worth sitting with. God waited for the quiet. He didn't compete with the loud things. He waited until they passed, and then He spoke. The problem for most of us is that we never get to the quiet. We go from one loud thing to the next and wonder why we can't hear anything. That's what I've learned after 77 years of paying attention to this. The more you practice being still, genuinely still, not just physically but mentally, the easier it gets to tell the two apart. Intuition tends to carry the energy of your circumstances. It speeds up when you're anxious. It shifts when your situation shifts. The still small voice is steadier than that. It doesn't panic. It doesn't push. It waits. And when you're finally quiet enough to hear it, there's usually a quality of recognition to it, like something you already knew but hadn't let yourself say out loud yet. The man in France had been hearing something for years. He just didn't have the language for what he was hearing. And once I gave him that language, a lot of things started making sense to him that hadn't before. I think there are a lot of people in that same situation right now. Not confused about God exactly, not unbelieving, just without the vocabulary for what they've been experiencing. Living in a world that has drowned out the quiet so thoroughly that the still small voice has become something they second guess rather than something they trust. If that's where you are, I want to give you permission to take it seriously. Be still, not as a religious exercise, as a practical decision to create enough quiet that what's been trying to reach you actually can. It's still speaking. It hadn't stopped. You just have to be still enough to hear it. If this is something you want to go deeper on, the faith side of what I talk about, the questions people are carrying, the honest conversations, that's what I built my Skool community for. It's free. It's called The Next Step. The link is in the description. Come as you are. There's no performance required. I'll see you on Wednesday.